Well, good afternoon. Hopefully you can hear me this week. Whoops, you don't want to hear that. Hopefully you can hear me this week. I've got my phone beside me so that if it's still on, so if you can't hear me, send me a text or phone me up or something, and I will try and make some changes. But welcome to this second online recital from Bridlington Priory. And thank you very much for the kind comments that followed last week's recital. Yesterday, here in the Priory, we celebrated Candlemas, the presentation of Christ in the temple, the end of the Christmas season. I'm sure that most churches will have kept it yesterday, although in fact it is tomorrow, the 2nd of February. And so I thought today I would play a program of largely Epiphany-based music, with a sort of nod to Christmas at the end, just to round off this Christmas season for us in a musical way. So we begin with Buxtehude. Buxtehude would have been a far more famous organist, I think, far more well-known name, had it not been for that young upstart, Johann Sebastian Bach. Bach, we know, was a great admirer of Buxtehude, and famous story of him walking 200 miles to hear Buxtehude play. And he was a very prolific composer, not just organ music, but other forms as well, vocal music and instrumental music as well, most of which is neglected, sadly, these days. But this is a chorale prelude, or a set of variations, upon the Epiphany tune, Wie schön leuchtet der Morgenstern, How brightly shines the morning star. It's a tune that we mainly know in this country, I think, because Ivor Atkins uses it for the backing choir in the Cornelius Three Kings that is so beloved of choirs at Christmas time. And so you'll probably recognize the tune. He breaks it in half. There's the first bit of it. You hear the tune in the bass at the beginning, and then it goes into the treble, and then the second part of the tune comes in a bit later. And so this is Buxtehude to start us off. not sure what the noise in the background seems to be. It sounds like it's the start of the lawnmower or something, but hopefully it's not too distracting. There we are. So Buxtehude there. We crossed to France for the next piece, to Théodore Dubois, a very respected figure in the Parisian organ scene, and organist of the very fashionable church of the Madeleine at the end of the Champs-Élysées as you come out down the steps onto that most fashionable part of Paris. And this is simply the March of the Royal Kings, not the Three Kings, March of the Royal Kings. And you can imagine the ladies in their, Parisian ladies in their finery, emerging from church on a Sunday morning, on Epiphany Sunday, to this. I should say he specifies in this a lead weight to be put on top B on the swell to represent the star. We don't have a lead weight. I do have a pencil to hand, so I'll just try and jam that in. And I always remember to change microphones back so I play. Isn't that fun? We moved back to this country for the next piece. When I was being brought up in Suffolk, the cathedral organist at Bury St Edmunds was a man called Harrison Oxley, known to everybody as Fred. He was a wonderful organist, and I attended several recitals by him and by visiting organists at the cathedral. And he was a wonderful, wonderful musician, and very precise. And he didn't publish a great deal of music, but there was this little prelude on Quelle est cette odeur agréable, the French Epiphany type tune. And it's absolutely exquisite, beautiful piece, great care. In the score, every single thing is marked that he wants for you. And he uses the quieter stops of the organ with the tune in the pedals. So the tune underneath on a 4-foot stop played by the pedals, and the accompaniment on the manuals. So Whence is that goodly fragrance, uses the English title by Harrison Oxley. Back to France for the next piece. The name Olivier Messiaen strikes terror into the hearts of many people. Bear with me, don't switch off. my programs tend to be a bit like classic FM. If there's something you don't like, then it doesn't last too long, and something that, in fact, you'll like the next piece. I think this is an extraordinary piece. La Nativité du Seigneur, it was a cycle of 9 pieces published early on. This is really what made Messiaen's name. He was still in his 20s when this cycle was published. And this movement, Les Mages, the Magi, I think is remarkable in its use of the organ apart from anything else. In the Dubois piece, we heard the pencil stuck in the top B to represent the shining star. Here, it's a little bit more subtle. The star, I think, is represented by the left hand up here on the swell organ, and lots of long-held chords. They change, but very slowly. There's always at least one note in common between one chord and the next, and the rate of change is very, very slow. And you know, just this constant star shining up in the sky. The right hand is playing on a 16-foot stop, high up, short, offbeat chords. And that seems to me to represent the slightly uncomfortable motion of a camel moving through the desert. It's always on the second, third, and fourth semiquavers, and so it never quite settles into it's a steady rhythm. Far cry from the more like a horse ride in the earlier piece, wasn't it? And then again, the tune coming underneath in the pedals on high-pitched stops in the pedals again. I think this is a remarkable piece. Messiaen's faith was all important to him. He was very devout Roman Catholic. And these are meditations. He's very definite about that. And so I think that's the way to approach this music, is to switch off for 7 minutes, or whatever it lasts, it's about 7 minutes. Switch off and meditate and find that picture of the wise men traveling on camels through the desert, as in Matthew's story. there are still a few people listening after that. And so we come to our last piece. This is the nod towards Christmas. Louis-Claude Daquin. The French composers of this period were terribly keen on writing noëls, taking essentially well-known French carol tunes and writing sets of variations upon them. There are lots of composers of the period that have done this. The problem nowadays is that they are carols that we don't know, that they're simply jolly tunes, but we don't know them. They've fallen out of use. This particular one is number 10 from a book of 12 noëls that Daquin published. There are at least 2 different sets of words that were sung to it at that time, but as I say, the tune I don't think you'll recognize, but you'll soon pick up it's a good, jolly tune. Daquin was something of a celebrity. He was organist to the king and a great, must have been a great showman, I think. Looking at his music, it's good, but it's by no means any better than lots of other composers around at the time, and he had other people perhaps being a bit more inventive than he was. But it's popular. His most famous piece, of course, the Cuckoo, was written for harpsichord, but also works very well on the organ. And it's just got that sort of instant appeal to it. And so here we have the Noël number 10 by Louis-Claude Daquin. As always, if you feel able to make a donation toward the work of the Priory, you can do so via the Bridlington Priory website, and many thanks to those who have donated following last week's recital. It's really very much appreciated, and thank you very much for your generosity. And so here we have Noël by Daquin to finish off today's programme.